Hello, welcome to another episode of Okay, Karen.
Okay, Karen.
We have a really special episode today, and we have to start off with the biggest shout out ever. It is to Katie Champa Wamba. I don't know. Katie, I don't know how to say your last name.
What do you call her?
I call her Katie CH with a bunch of dots. Parentheses, Minnesota.
There you go. Katie, Minnesota. Katie, Minnesota.
Yes. Woo!
Our superstar.
God,
Katie Champampong is one of our
like
great friends. Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. CH ... Minnesota. One of our great friends. I knew her in college, and then through me, her and Angela became besties. At our friend Beth's wedding, they decided they were best friends.
Yeah.
Well, I was
because we had to clean Beth's apartment after
you didn't
she
have
left,
to. And you graciously, willingly did. That sounds much better than I had to.
we were you volunteered us, so we kind of couldn't say no.
But I know that you would have, out of the kindness of your Southern heart, you would have helped the bride out because she was behind in her moving.
You're right.
Out of her apartment.
It was like 95 degrees. We were dripping sweat. There was no air conditioning in our apartment because she had already cut it off. We made about 120 trips, and we had to quickly change and get on an airplane. Yeah. It was so much fun.
Good times in Dallas.
Yeah. That's why we're besties.
That's right. So Katie and Beth, shout out to both of you. Katie suggested this episode. That's why we have a huge shout out to her.
Yes.
Because she not only listens, she also gave us a suggestion for an episode, which we would love to hear from all of our other listeners. Please give any suggestions. We would love to hear from you what you want to hear us talk about for an hour.
Do y'all want us to talk? Yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about. So if you have suggestions of what you wanted to hear us talk about, we can talk about anything.
Nothing's off limits, as you've seen in previous episodes.
I mean, we might not be great talking about certain things,
but you'll get to hear it.
Do it. Oh, yeah. I don't
for
know
a minimum
much
of 45 minutes.
I don't know much about the Egyptians and their pyramids, but I can talk about them. I mean, because I'm sure it was hot.
That's great.
Okay, so tonight's episode, thank you again, Katie, is the different regions of the United States and kind of our differences. Mm-hmm. So I wore can you see it?
Mississippi home
My Mississippi home shirt. And this
for
is where
anyone
I live,
who doesn't
right
know,
here.
That is the outline, the silhouette of the state of Mississippi, not Alabama. It is a little confusing. I know it's a mirror image you're looking at, but do not confuse that. Angela she will go full Karen on you.
Nor is it a landmass.
Between Louisiana and Alabama.
Yeah. There actually is a state.
There is, yes.
Yeah.
That's true. What was the most recent hurricane? They said something else besides landmass. Missouri.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
they put the wrong initials.
Yeah, they did name it Missouri.
Yeah.
Because Alabama and Missouri were going to get hit by the hurricane.
Yeah. I was like, well, we should probably figure that one out. Also,
like
whoever's in charge of that should know that Missouri is a landlocked state in the Midwest.
It kind of is. I would think you should get that right. That's kind of important. Weather Channel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call y'all out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be all Karen on y'all.
Okay. So we've been to these places, and so kind of what we experienced when we were there, the culture, the food, the people, transportation, all the different things about the regions. This came up because Katie said we should talk about, she enjoyed listening to our accents.
Yeah.
Which is mostly Angela's, but it does rub off on me. You know, when I would talk to you on the phone, my roommates, wherever I lived, were like, who were you just talking to? I'm like, why? And they're like, you have such a Southern accent. We have never heard that before. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, when you're on the phone with that person, I'm like, it's Angela. And they're like, it comes out. And we're listening and we're like, Betsy has a Southern accent? But apparently when I'm talking to you on the phone, it comes out more.
It comes out.
Which I do take on accents wherever I live. Like my O's got longer when I lived in North Dakota.
Which to me, you say Southern accent, and I guess I just don't hear it. Because
you don't hear it.
This is how I've taught my whole life. I have some cousins, though, that have an accent. They live in like the country.
Mhm.
They have an
Country.
accent more than me, you know.
Well, you know,
So
my relatives in the country, shout out
yeah,
Bowers if
shout
you're
out
listening.
Bowers.
They have a country accent, which I remember you were kind of surprised because you were like, but they're from Illinois. Why
Yeah,
do they
they kind
sound
of
like
sound like,
country, like
yeah,
our country in Mississippi type?
right.
And I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, outside the cities, there's some similarities with, farmers, ranchers, kind of,
But
culture.
also, your cousin, Matt, do you remember he said a sentence?
Hmm.
And I was like, what?
He said, Jeff threw the pop cans on the roof.
And I was like,
But the way he said it
mm-hmm.
was it just, you, Angela did. She tilted her head and looked at me and said, I
Like,
didn't understand. That was like a foreign language. What did he just
so
say?
Betsy said, our Uncle Jeff threw the Coke cans on the roof. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, gotcha.
But it was like complete translating of a different language almost. And there were several times where Matt looked at me and was like, and, did this like, what? And then I would translate. Angela said, and I would translate it back. I was like the middleman between the two accents.
We both speak English.
Yes, you both speak English.
Um,
I mean, the United States is a big country and there's a lot of different
yeah.
dialects. There really are a lot. So,
And, down here in the South, which we'll just go ahead and get into, Coke is everything.
yes.
Do you want a Coke means, oh, you want a Coke? Okay. Do you want Coke? Do you want root beer? Do you want Sprite?
I have products,
Right.
So like if you came to my house, I'd be like, we got sparkling water, we got Cokes, we got, and then if you want a Coke, you say, what kind of Cokes do you have? We have Diet Coke,
Right.
we have Sprite, we have Dr. Pepper, we have whatever. You may not even have actual Coca-Cola, regular Coca-Cola, but you would say we have Cokes.
Yeah, you have Cokes.
Mm-hmm.
Our neighbors, when we lived in Gulfport, when we were young, were from Buffalo, New York. They had a second house. It was near the beach. And they asked my brother and I, they said, do you want to come over for a pop later? And my brother and I were like
a pop? Is that what you thought?
Yeah, we were like, no, our parents won't let us. And they were like, oh, okay. And we told mom and dad, we were like, they wanted to just come over for a pop. And dad was like, they meant Cokes. And we were like, oh yeah, we'll come over for Coke.
That is so funny. We want to Coke.
Yeah, I know. So it really is just, and then
and soda is popular in a lot of places.
Right.
I actually think soda makes sense to say soft drinks or soda, if you're talking about the whole general thing. I think Coke is so prevalent though. I mean, there's like a handful of restaurants I can name that have Pepsi products and everybody knows it. Like
in the
Subway,
South for sure.
Yeah, Subway has Pepsi products usually. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have Coke, but they usually have Pepsi. Some gas stations will have like fountain Coke and Pepsi, but most of them just all have Coke. And
there's a like a mom and pop's place down here, real popular, and they just switched from Coke to Pepsi, and everyone was like, "Why did y'all switch?"
Yeah,
I mean, it's because if you have down here also, most everyone prefers Coke over Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have Pepsi, then people are like, "Oh, I'll get water."
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm like, do you have Coke or Pepsi
too.
products? And if they say Pepsi, I'm like, I'll just take water. Because it tastes different. And if you're so used to that flavor, I'm like, I'll just get my Diet Coke later. I'll drink water at the restaurant.
Because I think your cousins, Bowers, they like Pepsi better, correct?
Pepsi, I think in the Midwest, Pepsi is more popular. For most of the people I know in the Midwest, some of them drink Coke, but they'll tell you that in the stores it's equal, or maybe Pepsi even sells more. Whereas here, I don't even know why they have Pepsi on the shelves. I'm like, who's buying Pepsi?
Yeah. And I've told my mom growing up, I was like, look, if Pepsi's on sale, don't get it.
Yeah.
Still don't get it. We're not going to drink it. We don't,
Pepsi goes on sale more often here than Coke. And I think it's probably because they have it on the shelves and then they got to get rid of it. But I really don't know that many people here that drink it. I know some that'll drink some Pepsi products, like, a typical, like Mountain Dew is more typical Pepsi.
Right.
Dr. Pepper is, in some parts of the country, is sold with Pepsi in their fountain drinks.
Oh,
And then
really?
in the South, it's with Coke, and Mr. Pibb is with Pepsi. But I have seen it either one. And then Barks root beer is its own thing, but let's just face it, it's better than any other root beer. Come on. We'll
I
get
don't
into
drink
that
root
later.
beer.
Well, Barks is
But yeah,
better.
my mama loves a Barks in
Mm,
a bottle. Like she
yes.
said, you can't beat anything
It's
than
so
that.
good. Do you know, I used to
So
do, I will do, I love my fountain drinks. I'll do Diet Coke fountain drink with a shot or two of Barks in it. Mm, so good.
really,
Yeah. Like I like vanilla or cherry.
mm-hmm.
But I'll put Barks in it. I got my sister, shout out Jenny, I got her doing that as well. And she was like, this is really good. Because Diet Coke doesn't have as much flavor as regular Coke. And so if you add anything to it, it takes on that flavor really strong. So you can put a little bit of vanilla and it's very powerful. And so you put in a little bit of Barks and it's just a great combo. Because regular Barks is pretty strong for me because I'm used to diet. So any regular
Mm-hmm.
soda tastes really sweet and really strong.
Right.
So mixing just a little in that's your tip for the day from this Karen. Okay.
Oh,
So
so
Coke, Pepsi,
yeah, that's big.
Southern thing.
Um,
Southern accents, we told Katie this. She came down when we were in college, her and her sister Ruth. I don't think Ruth listens, but shout out Ruth. They came down to Mississippi on spring break. They thought we were having a hurricane because there was like torrential downpour rain in the afternoons, which if you're from the coast of Mississippi, you know that just happens
in the summer, it's the
every
dog
day
days
or
of
every other
summer.
day. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just like between 1 and 4. It's gonna pour rain like
it's gonna
mad for like 30 minutes to an hour.
It's gonna like get
Yeah.
just a little cooler. And when I mean a little cooler, from like
Like
99
3 degrees.
degrees to like 97.
The
And
humidity
then
is gonna go
afterward, the
down.
humidity is insane
Yeah, and
because
it
it's
is
just steam.
just I mean, it just pours. You can't like we were like in a fast food restaurant and we're like, we're just gonna stay in for a minute and like, let it pass a little bit because you would be soaking wet in the time it took you to get to your car. I mean,
Oh, for
drenched because
sure.
it's just
Yeah.
pouring. So, and everybody's just used to it. But when we were in that fast food restaurant, they were like, is this a hurricane? Like, what is going on? And, everybody's eating their food, like watching the rain flood the whole parking lot. Like the wind is just, we're like, no, it just rains like this in the afternoons. And they're like, what? But they have a lot more thunderstorms, like lightning and thunder. We don't have a lot of lightning and thunderstorms. We
When
have
we do,
rainstorms, but we don't have a lot of lightning and thunder and tornadoes. We don't have as many tornadoes
no.
as the
And
Midwest.
when we do have a thunderstorm, they like WLOX, which is our local news, they send a thing like thunderstorms tonight, kind of prepare for it, because you're right. It's, rain
It's
is
way more.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And the lightning and thunder is way more common. When I lived in the Midwest, it was like a normal thing, no big deal.
So what did you tell Katie and Ruth when y'all came down?
We just told them that it just rains like that. It
I
wasn't a
thought you
hurricane.
told
It was
them anything
March.
else about
Oh,
the
yes,
South.
yes. Sorry, the accent. So we were driving down from Ohio to Mississippi, and for spring break, it was a sister's trip because it was it was like 3 sets of sisters, and so we were all coming down. We were gonna have fun, and we told them because Katie wanted to try out her Southern accent. This is college Katie, which you didn't know, but I wish you would have. But anyway, so she is like, yeah, let's try it out. And so we said, okay. So they would try, and they just sounded like it was like this Southern Ebonics. Like they couldn't get it. They were just like, if you don't distort it, like it was like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what was that sound? And I'm like, who do you know that talks like that? And they're like, we don't know anybody that talks like that. We're trying to so they're like, teach us. And I'm like, all right, well, you just got to talk and it's just got to come, you got to get used to it. And I'm like talking and they're like, they couldn't do it. So then we said, so Jenny told him, if it's a short word, you make it longer. So you say, do you have the time? Like, you add a couple of syllables. Well, that's fine. Well, I can't believe it, and then we said, if it's a really long word, you shorten it by a syllable or two. So we don't say Mississippi, we say Mississippi or Alabama. And those words are long, so they get shortened a little bit. So, which is true. We do this, but if you don't know which words or how to shorten them, Katie's like, okay. So she's like, we're going to Mississippi. I said, You got to cut out one of the middle syllables, not the last one. And she's like, this is so hard. And I'm like, it's way easier if you just grew up with it. Like,
Right,
like,
right.
we're going to Florida. I'm like, no, it's Florida. Like,
Oh yeah, I say Florida.
yeah, and Georgia. But
Georgia.
so anyway, and so we just had so much fun with it, trying to, and then we're like, you can do this in the car, but please don't talk like that. You are going to offend people.
No.
And Southerners are not easily offended. They're usually very hospitable. But I was like, if you come out of the car and you're like, oh, we're just here visiting from this North House, Mississippi. Like, I'm like, they're going to be like, who are you?
Yeah.
So yeah, they didn't practice it very much, but we had a lot of crying, laughing fits in the car when they were trying to. And then when we met people, they'd get in the car and be like, oh my gosh, their accent was so cool. They just thought it was really fun to hear the strong Southern accents, which they had never really seen or heard, except, random people in college that lived from the South. So
now,
really fun.
And I have a friend, Katie, that is from Georgia. And when she came we went to PA school together in Alabama.
Shout out
and
Katie
she came,
Anderson.
yes. And she came to, her and her mom came over here to the coast, and they went to Bay St. Louis, which is close to Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is very Cajun. And she said, Angela, we were in the elevator with this person and he talked just like the water boy.
Yeah.
And she said, I didn't know what he said. And and I was like, well, what? And she said, I didn't even think it was English. But they have Louisiana it's a Cajun kind of French and off.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is.
Georgia's a little different too. I can say of the like deep South states, I do think Alabama and Mississippi are the closest to each other. Within the states, there's, like you said, city versus country is very different. The northern part of the state versus the southern is different. But those two states, I don't know if I could distinguish it. If someone was from Alabama was speaking, I'd be like, they're probably from Mississippi or Alabama. But I don't know if I could tell which one's which.
Right.
You might be able to. But Louisiana, I could be like, no, they're not from Mississippi. They're from Louisiana.
Yeah. And Katie said,
and Texas is
like, I pronounce it pecan, Pecan, pecan. And in Georgia, how do you say it?
Pecan.
How do you say pecan? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Georgia, she says pecan. And I'm like, it just is like, it is. It so is. And she actually said, like, her favorite ice cream was pecan praline. And I was like, oh, you're messing up both words.
Pecan praline.
because
I like it took, when you said that, I was like, what? Oh, pecan praline.
Yeah. Pecan praline. Yeah.
I don't say praline.
What do you say?
I guess I say, I don't know. Pecan praline. Maybe I say praline. I don't know. It sounds soft.
You don't say praline.
I don't know. No, I can't even think how to say it. So speaking of the Water Boy, that movie came out when I was in college and I was in Ohio. We went to see it in the theater, and the guy next to me was from New York or something. I don't know. We were with a group of friends, and when they were talking, the coach was talking. And it's real. It's an accent that is really, really strong. And I like laughed at one point. And he was like, do you know what he said? And I said, yeah. And I told him, and he goes, no. And I said, what? And he goes, you're just making that up. He's not actually, he's not actually saying anything. I said, no, he is. He's saying words, like he's saying sentences. And he goes, no. He's just like, rah, 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 rah. He's not actually talking. I'm like, no, there's a script. He's actually communicating. But there was a couple things I didn't catch. But most of it I could tell. And he was like, he's like, no way. That's not really like, I'm like, yeah, he's really talking. Like, but he just thought it was for comic relief that the guy was like,
saying stuff. Yeah. Which if anyone watches college football, Coach Orgeron is the coach of LSU Tigers. He has that accent, and he's like
on a twang.
Everyone's like, rah, 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 go Tigers. Like that's, I mean, and it is so. but
Oh
he's
man.
actually saying words now, which is funny because I actually looked up the most popular TV shows in different regions,
Okay.
and in like Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, um, was Louisiana in there? Yeah, Louisiana was also in there. It's Duck Dynasty.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
And
makes sense. Louisiana.
sometimes they have to put like subtitles.
I think that
Or
y'all should do. Yeah, they do. They do a lot of subtitles on Duck
Swamp
Dynasty.
People, if y'all ever watch Swamp People, they for sure put
All of them are
subtitles up.
subtitled, I feel like,
And
except the
I'm
narrator.
like, why do they need subtitles? Who can't understand this?
I did actually think that one time when I was watching, I was like, are the subtitles on the TV? Oh no, they put them on for everybody. I thought we had left the
Yes.
subtitles on our TV. No,
Right.
everybody. I was going to tell you that they should do a Real Housewives of Mississippi or Louisiana. They could do Real Housewives of New Orleans, although if they did it Mississippi, then you could be on it.
Yeah, I'm not Real Housewives money yet.
No, well, okay. So yeah, Jenny, my sister and I, shout out
Thanks.
Jenny. We were
Jenny.
joking about Real Housewives middle class edition because we were doing
Oh, okay.
when we went to brunch the other Wednesday, we both got a babysitter and we went to brunch on a Wednesday morning with no kids. And we were like, we
Nice.
fancy. I paid $10 for this omelet. Like we were just like, I'm out by myself. Like it was a
Oh,
treat.
that is
Yeah,
funny.
it was like 3 weeks ago. We haven't done it since. But you know what I mean, middle class. Okay.
Yes.
So New Orleans
So,
accent is a little different. And I think
yes.
people are surprised by this because I think New Orleans is like it's a combination of like a New York accent with a Louisiana accent. Like
Yeah.
city New
But
York
it's
combined with
so
Louisiana. So it's like
to
a
us
harsher big city accent, but then Louisiana.
when someone is when they talk, you instantly like I'm like, oh, they're from
From New
New
Orleans.
Orleans.
Yeah.
Like no doubt in my mind. I don't even have to ask you where you're from.
Yeah.
You're from New Orleans. I can
Yeah.
tell with your accent.
I've actually done
Yeah.
that to a couple people like, so what part of New Orleans are you from? And they're like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they're like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Mississippi. Because they know, First of all, you said New Orleans and not New Orleans. So dead giveaway, you know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. That's also that's how you
Don't go
pronounce
to
it,
New
people.
Orleans and say, I'm going to New Orleans. Don't do it.
Yes. So, but it's not just the South that has its own accent. I mean, New York, they have their own accent. I love to hear them talk Boston.
Yes.
And I like how they
Now-
say Boston. Like
Yes.
it's just
And I won't even
I
try
can't say it.
because those are
can't.
accents I can't do. I would sound as funny as Katie trying to do a Southern accent. But the different places, like say in New York, I couldn't tell you the different like you said,
gosh, no.
Jersey, you got Queens, you got the Bronx. I couldn't identify those, but people from there sure can very easily. And
Because
I'm
to
like,
me, it's just that's there.
That's
That's
somewhere.
in New York. Yeah.
Right. But if you live there, you probably could. So
yes.
Yes.
So now out west, I don't know. Did we run across?
Not
I don't
really.
remember like
I feel
accents.
I feel like no. I feel like
Yeah.
even Southwest there's not as much, at least in cities. And then like West Coast, California, Washington, Oregon.
I don't remember accents there.
Colorado.
No.
No, not really. That isn't. I mean, I'm sure if you were from there, you'd hear a little bit, but you might pick up because I do have a friend that's from Southern Colorado. Well, she says Colorado. And she says certain things like mountain, like she says just little words that are slightly different. And I've noticed that people from there have like just tiny little nuances, but not
Just
like
little.
I wouldn't notice unless I lived with her for a couple of years. So I knew like, oh, she's my roommate. I obviously heard her say things a lot,
Right.
So, and I could see that with California too, different parts of California, little phrases and
Now,
things.
we obviously down here in the South say y'all.
Yes. Which is so useful.
Oh, it's so nice, y'all. It really is. If you don't say it, it just rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, the best is
so
all
easy.
Y'all. All y'all. Are all of y'all going to the store?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. So y'all is a great contraction. I love using it. It's completely unnecessary because the word you can use for a whole group of people. So you don't really need to say you all.
Yeah, but that doesn't even sound right to us. I mean, it doesn't.
I
If
know
you
it
say
doesn't.
you, I know you're talking about, it sounds like just one person, you.
Yeah, but yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Now,
Yeah.
I have to say that I think that a lot of people must agree with you because our language has kind of evolved in other ways in other places because most other areas have a different phrase for y'all. They say you guys,
Or
you
you
know,
all.
or you'ns. Have you
Okay.
ever
I
heard
don't
that?
know anyone that says youans.
I did in West Virginia. They were
Oh,
like
okay.
yuns instead of you as a plural.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to hear. I would like
It's
to talk
there.
to
They
those
have
people.
you would be like, they sound like they're from the South, a very country where the part of West Virginia where I was living close to. And I heard people from there. Not, I mean, obviously
Where
some
were you
parts
in West Virginia, living in West Virginia?
I wasn't living in West Virginia, but I was close to it. When I lived in
Oh,
Ohio, I
okay.
was on the very
Gotcha.
eastern side of Ohio. So it was close to
Okay.
West Virginia and
So they
Pennsylvania.
say, other people say you guys or you all, or they just say you
I don't know
or
people say
youins.
all a lot. Like, are you all?
Yeah.
I guess so. Are you all going to the store? I could hear that. I think you guys is used quite a bit because that's what I always
I
said before I
remember
moved to the South. It was you guys.
when we were in high school, we had Miss Lapicolo was our religion teacher, and she was from the North. And she
Mhm.
said, I will never say y'all. I will. And she said, you guys, you guys. And all of us, we were just like, just say y'all. It's just so much easier.
It's one of
I
the
don't
things about that I adopted and I kept from. There's not a lot of people here that say y'all. Some say it, but not everybody. Um,
Where's here
in
in
Corpus
Texas?
Christi, in Corpus
Really?
Christi specifically.
What do they say?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they say it, but it's not as much of it with an accent. They say y'all versus like y'all. Does that make sense?
I didn't understand the difference.
Oh my gosh. The difference is you and me, girl. I say, are y'all going to the store? And you say, y'all.
Are
Hey,
y'all
y'all.
going to this?
Y'all. Y'all.
Y'all is really nice,
I do
though.
like
If
it. And
you
I actually have friends that are not from the South that say, after living in the South or living with Southerners, say, I'm going to take that. I'm just going to use it. One of my friends from Canada is like, I'm going to take this with me. I love it.
Hey,
So
I
there
think
you go.
everyone should. Y'all,
Yeah.
all of
Use
y'all
it.
tries.
Go ahead. All of y'all.
Yes,
Just use the
all
word.
y'all.
I do like it. And I think that it's fun and I think it's convenient to use. I like it better than you guys. Sounds better. It makes
It
sense.
sounds
It
more.
makes
It's
sense.
also, I think it's more personable than just you
That's
guys.
because you're not used to
It's
hearing you guys.
y'all.
So it's like a foreign thing. You're like, you say you guys, and it kind of sticks out like a red flag when you hear it. But to
Mm-hmm.
people that use it all the time, 100 times a day, y'all is the one that sticks out. Somebody says y'all, and they're like, whoa, you just said y'all.
Yeah, we'll
So
have to move on.
now I'll tell you a Southern word that I swore I would never use.
What
And
is
I
that?
moved to Mississippi. I moved to Jackson when I was 9. Fixin'.
I knew you were going to say fixin'. So
I just
I don't think I say fixin', but I'm, yeah, I just don't know if I say fixin'. I will say this. Sometimes I do drop the G on some things.
yeah.
Like if the boys are hunting,
Yeah, you do a lot.
they're not hunting
Yeah.
or they're not fishing. They're fishing.
Do
Or
you drop the
hunting.
T like hunting?
I just said hunting. The boys are hunting. I don't
So
know what I don't know what I pronounced. I don't know what words or letters I just pronounced. But if you ask me where the boys are hunting.
okay.
So there you go.
So
I don't
hunting, the T you leave out in the middle as well as dropping the G.
I mean, that sounds so. The
Hunting.
boys are going
I
hunting.
would say the boys are going hunting.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound right because it
Yes,
doesn't
it
sound
would
like.
if I said it. You wouldn't have noticed.
It
And I
sounds
was
like
like,
they're
oh,
getting
we're
all dressed up and matching clothes, and they're
with their
going
dogs and their horses.
Yes, and they're going hunting. No, they don't do that. They get in camo and they go hunting.
Yeah, but I would be like, Angela, where's John this weekend? Is he going hunting? Maybe I'd say hunting.
See,
I
you
think I would
just
say,
said hunting.
hold on. Is John going hunting this weekend? I think I'd say hunting.
Oh, you dropped the G the first time though.
Hunting. Ugh, that sounds terrible.
Stop talking.
Okay, Karen. So I really don't think I say hunting. See how weird it sounds when I say it? It sounds completely natural when you say it, but when I
You're
say
gonna
hunting,
have to hear this back because when you just said it, you dropped the G. but
I
it
know.
wasn't.
I know I did. I was trying it out and I was like, is that how I say it? It was like praline. I was like, do I say praline or praline? Pecan praline. I don't
But
know.
I don't think I say I fixin'. Some people do say fixin', but
Okay, a lot
I
of people
think
say
that a
fixin',
lot of
and I
people
said
get
it.
caught up
I
on
was
that
like,
word.
I had lived here. I'd lived in Mississippi maybe like 2 years. Like y'all, I just accepted, and I was like, whatever, I'm gonna say it. I mean, I moved there when I was young, and then, but I remember the day that I was like, well, I can't go because my mom's fixing to go to Walmart, and I just like stopped, and I was like, my mom's fixing to go to Walmart. Like I was so upset. Like I was so like defeated. Like it happened. I don't use it anymore. And I don't think I really ever used it, but it did come in my vocabulary naturally at that point. And I was like, "Nah, I just
See,
don't like it."
I
And
don't
people
know if I
listening may
even
not even
say
know
that.
what I meant by fixin'. Like they may have thought like, well, like I'm fixing the ice maker. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like fixing, but dropping the G, which makes sense. You can use it that way all you want. Like I'm fixing my car. I'm fixing food, like
right.
making, well, fixing, that's a Southern thing. You wouldn't say I'm fixing dinner anywhere else and I don't think anybody else uses fixing like that for meals. Here's one thing I never
Yeah.
realized that I said is dip up your food.
What?
Get your food. Like I said to
You say
Sean,
dip?
the dinner, like food's ready. Do you want me to dip your plate? And he's like, oh, that is so weird. And I'm like, what? And he's
It
like, I
is.
said, are you going to dip up or do you want me to get you a plate? And he's
What?
like, you just keep saying it. And
I
I'm
know.
like,
I
what
wish you
is
would
wrong
stop
with you?
saying it right now.
I did not know until this like past year or two that is a Midwest thing.
It
And
is
so,
definitely not a Southern thing. If someone told
no,
me to dip up my plate,
yeah.
I'd have to look to you and say, what did
Go serve yourself.
they say?
So
Yeah.
anyway, get your plate, Angela.
I know.
Get your plate. Y'all go get your food.
I know.
Anyway, and so I was like, I didn't realize that was a thing. And he's like, you are the only person I know that says that. And then I said it intentionally around my parents, and Sean was there. And I looked at Sean and I looked at my parents. My parents like nothing, just went right over their head. And I'm like, do you hear anything? Do you hear anything? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dip your food. Did you know that was a Midwestern thing?
You
And they're
know
like,
what?
no.
I would like you to try this with your in-laws because they're from the South.
Oh,
They're from Texas.
I think
What do
Sean's
you
probably
think?
already brought it up in front of them.
Oh,
So one
okay.
time I
Okay.
had
Then you can't
soup
do it.
and I intentionally was like, come in here and dip up your soup. And Sean's like, looks at me and I'm like, it makes sense with soup.
Yeah,
He's
but
like,
it sounds really, it doesn't.
dip your soup up.
So they really say that?
I think so. I got it from somewhere, and my parents are the ones that gave it to me because they say it.
That's interesting.
We also, the dinner and supper thing is different. So
Yeah, for
some of my
sure.
relatives in the Midwest have dinner as the noon meal, as lunch. So they have
Yeah.
breakfast, dinner, supper. And nowhere else have I lived. I did not take that on. My mom says that sometimes, like, okay, well, what are you guys having for dinner? And I say what we're having for the evening meal. And she's like, oh, I mean lunch. And I'm like, okay, let's just say lunch.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
I've heard sometimes too, they used to say Sunday dinner and they meant Sunday lunch,
yes, yeah.
because
So
that used to be a big thing.
yeah. So dinner sometimes in the Midwest can be the noon-ish meal,
noon
and then
meal,
supper is
yeah.
always the evening. So if you say
Yeah.
supper, it's always evening. But we just have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We don't have breakfast, lunch,
You
and
don't
supper
have-
either way, but dinner and supper are interchangeably as the last meal of the day. So
Gotcha.
because I think that's way less confusing. Let's just call it lunch in the middle of the day, and then we don't,
Then nobody, yeah.
So
But I do like Sunday dinner. I like to say that.
instead of Sunday supper.
No, when I say Sunday dinner, I mean lunch, Sunday lunch.
Why?
I don't know. I just like it. It sounds a little more like,
Would you have Monday dinner?
no, you
What
have
do
Sunday.
you have? What if it's Thanksgiving Day? Would you have Thanksgiving dinner at noon?
We have a Thanksgiving meal.
Oh, it's a
It's
meal.
a whole
It's not a
meal.
lunch.
It's a whole meal.
So it'd definitely be Easter dinner.
Yeah.
What if you were having Easter meal at 6 p.m.?
We don't do eat like holidays. We don't say that. We just say we're getting together for Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, because it's such a, like, so you know how
It's
my
a
family
banquet.
is. It's a big
Thanksgiving
family. It's a lot of
banquet.
food.
The
It's
banquet will be served at 1 p.m.
and it's a lot of food.
and you can dip up at 1:05 after we
Stop!
pray.
Don't say dip up. Don't say. Dip up makes me think of
dip.
Like
See, and
yes,
I would have never put that together. That's from because you're from the South. Ugh,
yeah.
we used to have guys in class in high school that would dip in class and like spit it in a bottle or swallow it.
Ew, they
To everyone
swallowed
not
it?
from the South.
That's gross.
Shout out to any of our classmates that did that.
If
I don't
they're
want to
even
shout you out.
listening.
They might be listening. You never know, Karen. Okay, so let's move on. So we were talking about accents, the different ones, and we didn't really hear any like West, and kind of like West Central, like Montana, and I would say Montana, Idaho, they do, but I think more like outside the cities. So
Like,
again,
and
ranch,
you said
country.
North Dakota. Yeah, they had one.
Oh
right?
yeah, North Dakota is like the movie Fargo, which you probably haven't seen because
Oh
you would not
yeah,
like
no,
it.
I did. They chopped the little person out. And
They
that
chop
thing.
the little person up in the thing. That's the description for Fargo. Okay. So
That's what I know from Fargo.
they have very exaggerated O's. So they say I'm from North Dakota. Similar to Minnesota, but slightly
I was
different.
about to say
And
that's like Minnesota. Like
Minnesotans
Katie
and
said.
North Dakotans would probably both be very offended that I said that they have similar accents, but they do have similar
Are you
accents,
offending Karen?
especially northern Minnesota, I would say. Southern and like the cities, the Twin Cities, not as much, but northern Minnesota and North Dakota are very similar, with the long O's. And when I lived there, so I moved and I worked in North Dakota for 2 years. I moved there in August. In November, I flew to meet my family for my dad's 50th birthday, I think. And we got together mid-November. I'd been there since August. And I arrived in Nebraska where we were meeting. And I got off the plane and I was like, wow, it's so warm. I think it was Nebraska because my sister was living there. I was like, wow, it's so warm. Like I didn't even need to bring my coat. My coat. And I didn't realize that I said coat, like coat instead of coat. And I was like, that's so warm. I can't believe it. I shouldn't even brought my coat. And everybody, we were in the car and all other 4 members of my family at the same time went, coat. I was like, I didn't bring my coat. And they all went, coat. Like it was like a surround sound. And I was like, what? I was like, I didn't say it like that. And they're like, yes, you did. And I was like, oh my
so you didn't
I was
even realize you said
I
it.
didn't realize it. And I've only lived there 2 months and I'm already like 2-3 months and I'm already like adapting the
Picking up.
dialect. Yeah. And which I definitely do wherever I live. I end up picking up on whatever is around me or when I talk to you on the phone. So, which is why I feel like I can pretend accents of where I have lived, or if I've had a roommate and I can like, hear their accent.
Because I cannot do accents.
Yeah.
I tried doing an Irish. It just didn't. I can do
an Irish.
I could say,
even the way you said Irish. Try doing an Irish.
You could say how they say 3. And it's 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because it's just like saying tree. TREE is there 3. That's all I got.
That's all you're going to count. You're only count to 3 in Irish.
Yeah. Well, I never heard him say 4 or 5.
Okay. So what air do you want to talk about that we've been to?
I think now we talked about how we talk and what we say. Mm-hmm. I think we should talk about the different foods because that's a huge thing.
Okay. So let's, one thing I was surprised by, I'll just start what I was surprised by. We went to, Maine, like Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, the Northeast trip. And I was really surprised, one, that people could differentiate the accents between those states. Like when we were in Maine, they sounded slightly different than the other. I would have never been able to distinguish it because they just didn't really sound like they had a strong accent, but they could tell the difference. And they always said, was it down east? They're like, oh, it's down east. It's down east. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Where are they referring to?
I might not have even heard them, but just shook my head and smiled.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand your language.
Yeah.
So in Maine, we knew lobster. We knew for sure, like, we got
Yes.
to get a lobster. We're
Get a
going to Maine.
lobster.
Some things I didn't know that were like really well known about the area. One was the blueberries. Like, they were like
Blueberry was
blueberry
really
pie,
big
blueberry
in
pie,
Maine.
blueberry pie everywhere.
Yes.
Like, we
They
saw
had
that.
like a blueberry festival and blueberry picking. We had just missed that too when we went. Like,
Yes.
we were a week or two from missing it, I think.
Yeah. And everyone thought we were there for the fall colors, for the fall foliage. They were like, oh, you're here for the changing leaves. And we're like, no, but it's really pretty. But I guess I didn't realize how many people
It's a huge
travel
thing. Yes.
to that area just to see the fall leaves. I was like, I mean, it was beautiful, but I just didn't realize it. We did see some lighthouses, which is what Angela wanted.
A lot.
But blueberry pie was on the menu everywhere. It was like really, really pop. You're in Maine, get your blueberry pie, like everywhere. So we did have some blueberry pie. We had some lobster. And then they're apparently famous for moose, which I didn't know either until we got there. Not eating moose, just seeing moose. Like, everyone was like,
Vermont also was big with the maple. Remember?
Yes. Which I didn't. I mean, I felt like so uneducated. I'm like, I don't know anything about what these states are about.
Right, but they were. It was, and maybe we should have known Vermont.
I mean, we saw the capitals, so like, we knew that we went to the capitals.
But that did. So, I mean, Vermont was everything maple, and Maine was that. Now, when we went to New York, what did we have in New York?
In New York City, bagels. Yes, bagels, cheesecake,
pizza. You didn't do pizza. Did you do pizza with us, or did we? Because we went and had
it without me.
Their big pizza that you kind of fold.
Yeah. And then they just have like the delis. I mean, I think they're famous for the delis, type.
Like the lox and bagels, with the salmon and the cream cheese. Now, I have never had Chicago deep dish. Have you had that?
I don't think I have in
like
Chicago.
An authentic.
No.
And
I've been to Chicago, but I haven't had Chicago deep dish.
Do they put their sauce on the top? Like, don't they do something different with the sauce? Like, normally it's like crust, sauce, toppings, cheese. I think their order is a little different. I could be completely wrong and completely making this up, but I thought that the sauce is on the top.
Maybe the toppings are under the cheese or on top of the cheese differently. I
think it's under the sauce.
Oh,
okay.
I don't.
I
couldn't tell you. Like I said, I've had deep dish, but I've never had like authentic in Chicago deep dish.
Yeah,
I've only been to Chicago, although I was born in Chicago. So shout out Chicago.
Ooh, shout out Chicago.
I did not have pizza in the first 8 months of my life when I lived there. So,
well, that's a shame.
Thanks, Mom and Dad, for not giving me
ruining
pizza
your life
when I was 6 months old, because that probably wouldn't be a good choice for your small baby.
I mean,
I have been back to visit a few times, but I don't think that we had deep dish pizza when I was there visiting. So next time they should put that on our list, Angela.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yes. When I went to like Maryland, DC area, I had to get like the crab patties, the crab. That was a really big thing there. So I made sure, and it was so good. Like, my cousin took us to a place and their crab patties are like this big.
Yeah.
And it was just lump crab meat, barely stuffing. Out west, like Southwest.
Yeah.
I think they do a lot of like peppers, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's like a
heavy, like Mexican.
Yeah, but
Tex-Mex.
It's different. So it's like a Southwest Mexican. It's not just like regular Mexican. A lot of like green sauce and red sauce. And spicy. I feel like spicier than Tex-Mex in some ways. And even Tex-Mex is different. Like, I'm from Texas now. I think I've lived here more years than anywhere else. So are you? I don't know. Karen.
You just said you were born in Chicago, but okay, we'll go with that.
I'm from Illinois then. Does that make you happier? No, you want me to say I'm from Mississippi. Either way, I'm not from Mississippi if I'm from Texas or I'm from Illinois. Okay. 9 years in Illinois, 9 years in Mississippi. The rest of my life is elsewhere, honey. So equal parts Illinois, Mississippi. I'll give you that. So
Yeah, but you don't remember the Illinois, so does
I
it
do
count?
remember it. I don't remember the
You
Chicago. I
don't
remember
remember
the
all
rest of
9
Illinois.
years.
What?
You don't remember all 9 years.
That's true. I do remember all 9 years in Mississippi.
So we do have a little one up.
I do also remember all 12 years in Texas.
Well, I didn't ask about that.
Okay. So in Texas, though, when you have Mexican where we live and you have Tex-Mex, and it is different, very different. So you would not say like, oh, we're going to go get Mexican and name a restaurant. People would be like, that's not Mexican. Like, are we getting Mexican or are we getting Tex-Mex? Because it's like a completely different genre of food here. So
Also, y'all take like your chili really seriously.
yes.
Like your
Texans take
husband
chili really
now,
seriously.
and this is a
let's not talk about
question.
noodles in chili. Please don't bring it
Hold
up.
on. No, I wouldn't put noodles in it. But is it beans?
Some Texans say chili should just be meat, no beans.
No beans. Okay, which is surprising because now I'm not from Texas. I'm from Mississippi, but we put beans in our chili. My aunt makes really good chili. Shout out Nanny. She makes better chili than my mama. Sorry, Mom. You know that's the truth. Yeah, we wouldn't even eat Mom's chili, so she finally had to get Nanny's recipe. But it does have beans in it.
I make chili with beans, and I actually like it with beans. I don't like it just straight meat. And my husband, when he makes chili, he makes it with beans also. But he's like, like straight up chili is good with just meat. And the chili like cook-offs are usually just meat. They just meat with the sauce.
They don't put beans in them.
No. And you can eat it over rice if you wish. So we have something.
How else do you eat it over if you don't eat it over rice?
Nothing.
Huh.
So in the Midwest, where I grew up the first 9 years of my life, and I do remember some of the food, there was a chili that had basically like almost like what we called goulash. Do you know what goulash is?
I mean, I think I do, but doesn't it have like vegetables or something in it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like meat, like ground beef, and it could have beans, and then it has like noodles, some kind of noodle, like macaroni noodle or something like that. But anyway, so chili was very different and not spicy. And so, moving to the South and moving to Texas, Sean at one point was like, but it's called chili. It has chili peppers in it. Like why would it just be so bland? Like if you're not putting peppers in it, it's not going to be chili. And I was like, I never thought of it because I am very much acclimated to living in first Mississippi and now Texas with food that has a lot of flavor. Like we put so much flavor in our food. And growing up in Illinois, in Southern Illinois, things were just like, I mean, I feel like dishes had salt and pepper in them and some had more, but they were very mild compared to the amount of stuff we put in our food here.
Really? So, yeah, that's interesting.
Chili there was like, yeah, my 1 and 2 year old could eat it. No problem. Chili here, I'd be like, they're not going to eat that. They'll be like, ah! Because I made chicken tenders the other day and I used the breadcrumbs that were spicy breadcrumbs. And my daughter told me that her teeth hurt. It makes her teeth hurt. And my son just left it on the plate and wouldn't eat it. And he eats everything. So I cut the breading off, which just about killed me because I'm like, this is the good part. And he ate it once I cut the brown. And Claire's
it was just too spicy.
My daughter's like, I don't like the brown part, Mom. Can you take it off? And they're good eaters. So I was like, yeah. So I told my husband, we're not wasting that on them. So we had leftovers and I was like, that's for us because I'm not serving it to them because they're not going to eat it. And they do eat most things, but kids don't eat spicy a lot.
Right.
So
and they
right now we find out we're using I'm making food for them and then I'm making food for us because we don't want to eat bland stuff.
No.
So we're like,
and speaking of spices, like New Orleans is, I mean, they're their own set of
Louisiana.
Food.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, and it's so good. It
the might be my favorite type
of food.
Yeah. Well, and what did you ask me last time? Mexican or something else? And I said Mexican.
Chinese, I think.
Yeah. But if you ask me Mexican or Cajun, I don't know what I would say. I might say Cajun.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
Like New
Cajun,
Orleans.
though, but you just have so much and it is so flavorful.
Every dish, I'm like, this is
Yes,
so good. But I love
it
spicy
is.
food too. So I
Yeah.
like Mexican and Cajun.
And I
Probably my
think
two favorite.
we are lucky in Mississippi that French
Has
Cajun
yes.
bleeds over into us because
And you already
gumbo.
have the fried food in Mississippi.
I
So
was
you
about to
got the
say
best of both
we have
worlds.
like the deep South,
Yeah. You got your
cornbread, fried
cornbread.
chicken, collard greens, and then you have like gumbo, etouffees,
Yeah. That's a
jambalaya.
good
Oh,
place to
so
be.
good. I
I'm
know.
getting really hungry.
The
Okay, so
sausage.
also in the Midwest we had a lot of casseroles. So or in Minnesota it can be called hot dish.
Who says
But
that?
the
They call it
people
hot dish?
in the Midwest, yeah. It's a casserole, but it
Interesting.
could also be called a hot dish.
Hmm.
That makes sense. It's a hot dish. So,
Okay.
yeah, like tater tot hot dish, which is basically like ground beef with a can of some kind of cream of something soup with tater tots on top. You just stick it in the oven. It's very
And they
healthy.
don't call that a casserole?
No, they would call it it's called tater tot hot dish. So yeah.
Okay.
Also, have you heard of
Also,
bars? They would be like a cookie, but they're called bars. So instead of kind of like homemade granola bar or something like that, but you make it in a 9 by 13 and then you cut it. So anything like that, they'd say bars. Like, oh, I'm bringing bars to the pot. I'm gonna make some bars. So
no,
that's a thing.
no, we don't say that.
No, I know you don't. That's why I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else when we were
But
visiting Minnesota and
when
Wisconsin
we
that you had for the
went,
first time?
rhubarb,
Rhubarb.
because rhubarb is not, at least down here in Mississippi, we don't cook with rhubarb a lot. And I see it like on Food Network, they talk about rhubarb and strawberries or what. I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like. I mean, I think it's a stalk, kind of like celery, maybe.
Yeah, you got
I
it.
could be completely
Like
wrong.
a big leafy stalk.
But yeah, but we don't cook with that. So that was my first time to have that. And then when we went camping with the Bowers somewhere, was it that terrible trip?
It was
We
the
had
Southwest trip. It was in Yosemite when it was freezing cold. And
we had
Aaron got bratwurst. What we say brats.
brats. Yeah.
And Angela kept calling them brats and was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. That looks like a
Yeah.
weird hot dog.
Yeah, because one of them was white, and I was like, I'm not eating that white meat. I don't even know what it is. It doesn't look anything like chicken, and it's shaped like a hot dog, and I'm not eating it. I'm not eating a white hot dog.
When we got up there and it was dark and it was 20 degrees in the middle of nowhere, and Aaron, God bless him, had the tent ready for us and had a fire going and had brats on the fire. Angela was like, give it to me. And she took a bite and she was like, this is warm and it's good. I don't even know what I'm eating.
I'll be honest, when I came back, I looked for brats.
Bratwurst. You could probably find it if you look for bratwurst.
We don't, when we were up there, I remember in the store, they had like this huge selection. Yeah. I think there's like one or two down here. I mean, it's not, because it's not a big deal. It's not, you either have hot dogs or you have like sausage. Sausage is a big thing down here,
Which so, I mean, they'll kill me for saying it, but it's similar.
Yeah, because Matt Bauer was saying like, oh, you get a brat and
it just went from like one syllable to three. You get a brat with a question mark. Am I saying that right? A brat.
And then you put what's the white stuff you put on it? That I don't eat that stuff
mayonnaise?
Either. No, but I don't eat mayonnaise.
White stuff, do you not? Sour cream? Sauerkraut, white stuff.
Yes.
I didn't know you didn't eat sauerkraut. But yes, it does go with sauerkraut. People eat it together. Whoops,
so those are, that's something we don't do that a lot down here.
So Midwestern foods you hadn't had: brats, bratwurst, rhubarb. Yeah, I don't see rhubarb a lot in the South. That's interesting.
No, it's not a big
and deal. Cheese curds.
Cheese curds, which I do like. Cheese curds. I know. Yes. I like them. Very good.
Who doesn't love a cheese curd? Yes. And then you can like microwave them for 10 seconds and they're all squeaky and soft. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's good.
Yeah. So well done, Midwest, on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's basically, oh, when we went out to like Washington,
Yes. State in
that area,
Oregon. Yeah.
Washington State, yeah, I was surprised they had a ton of elderberry.
Yeah. We didn't
It
realize
was
that was
like
really big out
Maine,
there.
but
Yeah.
yeah, with blueberry
So
and
all the shops had elderberry syrup, elderberry jams, elderberry everything.
wine.
I mean, they're like magnets that say elderberry. And you're like,
Yes,
oh, I guess
that
this
was a
is
big
good.
thing, a
Yeah.
big deal. And then, of course, when we went to Alaska, salmon, and we
Yes.
had salmon, like
We had a
smoked
lot.
salmon.
Oh, I love salmon.
It
Yeah.
was so good, but and I loved it up there. But when I shipped it back down here, I was like,
It's
it's
okay.
okay. It wasn't like,
Even though
and my
you knew it
mom was
was
like,
Alaskan salmon, it just wasn't.
yes,
Yeah.
it
Maybe
just
they
maybe
prepared
the
it better.
atmosphere and
Yeah.
the humidity down here just ruins
It
everything.
just ruined the salmon. It wasn't the shipping and dry
It
ice. It
was
was
the
the humidity in
humidity.
Mississippi. Oh my
Also, I
gosh.
will say this: tea is a big deal.
Tea, yeah. Well, because
Tea,
neither one of us, so Angela and I, neither one drink coffee, which is, I
right?
understand, unusual for Karens. Most Karens drink coffee, I think.
We don't.
But we don't fit in with the mold. We break the mold in some
Our
ways.
hairstyle's a little different.
Yeah, look at this. Style and girth of my hair is different.
Ooh,
Yes.
let's not say that word girth.
You don't like that word, Karen?
No, I don't.
What if I say girth like that? Is that better?
Nope, still don't like it. You could say girth. I still don't like it. I don't care how you say it.
So, let's not talk about girth anymore.
No.
And we don't drink coffee,
Nope.
but we started drinking tea I started drinking tea really in Ireland because at breakfast, we stayed at mostly bed and breakfasts
Bed and
because the place,
breakfasts.
I mean, we went, oh my gosh, we're going to have a whole episode on Ireland because I
And we're
over
gonna try
I
to get
over
Katie
planned and we're going to
on
get
the
Katie to come
episode.
be a guest. And I overplanned in Ireland and the driving just took so long. But we stayed at these amazing bed and breakfasts, which is definitely what you should do if you're in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like every breakfast they would be like, "Would you like tea or coffee?" And we were like, "Water." You're just like, "They don't have orange juice anywhere." I'm like, "No, they do not have juice
They
in
didn't
the
have orange
morning."
juice or milk.
No.
Like that was it, people. Tea,
Yeah.
coffee, or water.
And we got so many strange looks. That, and also I spent a few weeks in Italy. I did this like teaching abroad thing, and that was the same thing there too. Like they could not believe that I didn't drink coffee, a lot of coffee every day. They're like, "You don't drink any coffee. Like you don't drink coffee." But if I said like, "I'll take a tea," they'd be like, "Oh, okay. Like, yeah, no problem. Then you drink tea. Like that's normal." But if you're just like, "No, I just drink water," they're like, are you an alien? And then if I'm like, and Diet Coke, they're like, what? Like, who are mind blown? So yeah, so I started saying tea. We both did in Ireland. We actually bought little teacups.
Little teacups.
Yeah, as my souvenir from Ireland. That's what I got.
That was one of mine. I have several.
Yeah. I also got a Christmas ornament. So, now I have, I think 6 or 8 little teacups in my collection that I have up on the wall. And I just use a mug, but I've been making tea at night, before bed, some like chamomile tea. Of course, I put, you know, real tea drinkers would be like, "You're ruining it." And I'm like, "I don't care." Like, I don't care if it looks like it's milk, like chocolate, like hot cocoa in the end. So yeah, I put sweetener in and then I put like heavy whipping cream in and it is just amazing. So tea in the
And
morning,
I
tea
will
at
drink.
night. Mhm.
I will also drink cold tea, like sweet tea.
Yes, which
Now,
is a Southern thing.
I don't drink unsweet tea.
Mhm.
Don't bring me that and some sugar and say here, because that's
Mhm.
not happening.
No,
You
you
have
need
to
to
make
brew
sweet
the
tea
sugar
when
in
it's
with it when it's
hot.
hot so the
Yes.
sugar melts.
Right.
It
Otherwise,
dissolves.
you're just stirring some sugar in a cold glass and
It's not
nothing
gonna
is
work.
happening.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
And that's a difference. That is a Southern thing. You will not find
for
sweet
sure.
tea on a menu north of the Mason-Dixon line. I don't think you will.
I
Do
doubt
you?
it too. No.
And they will
I
say,
think I tried and
here's
they were
your
like, no,
cold tea and here's your
with
sweet
some
and low
sugar.
or
Yeah.
sugar. And it does not taste the
Mm-mm.
same. When it is
Mm-mm.
dissolved in when it's hot, it's very different.
It's so good too.
So sweet tea, southern thing, very good. And do you drink tea though, like when you're home? Or just when you've been traveling or when I'm there and I make tea for you, like last time I came to visit?
Yeah, I don't do it.
She
When
brought out a tea set and she's like, I got this for Christmas. I don't know when. And she gives me a box. And it's like loose tea. And she's like, I don't even know what
yeah.
you're doing with that.
Yeah.
But I made it and you thought it was delicious. And you were
But
like,
also
Betsy, you should make some more of that.
because we kind of like lounged around, I generally first when I'm working, I have zero time to make tea.
Yes.
I barely have time to do my makeup and get out of the house to make it to work.
But you could have it before bed, especially part of your nighttime routine. If you had chamomile that helps relax you, or, the wine helps you. The wine helps you relax. I'm done. I get a refill.
I'm gonna just go back to my Italian roots on that one and just stick to this.
Yeah. Now, do Italians drink wine to go to bed, Angela, to make them?
You can drink wine whenever they want.
Oh, I do have something to say. This is slightly off topic, but when I lived with the family for a couple of weeks in Italy when I was doing that teaching thing, and it was hot. They didn't have air conditioning. We were like outside of Milan, and at dinner they had white wine, and he pulled it out of the fridge, and the dad, and he's like, "Do you want ice?" And I was like, and he put ice in his cup, and I was like, yes, I do. And now I am justified. I lived with Italians and they put ice in their wine, so I can do it at home.
Really?
Yeah. So
that
no more of this, like,
me.
You're not supposed to put ice in your wine. I'm like, you know what? Because both of us, Angela and I, both really like cold drinks. We like
and
ice.
we all we like ice.
From that point on, I was like, you know what? I'm putting ice in my wine. And if they do it, they are real Italians.
So let me ask you this: did they drink red wine?
They did. They didn't put ice in the red.
Okay.
But they didn't have the red chilled either. But
yeah, that's normally that's why I was
and
thinking.
He even said white isn't
like.
He said we drink white a lot because it's so hot in the summer, and we like it because it's chilled and we put ice in it. And it wasn't like what you should have had with that meat that we were having at the meal. But he was like, we just drink white all the time because it's like 95 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And so actually, they didn't really go with the red with this meat, white with that meat.
When we were in Italy, it was cheaper to drink wine than it was anything else.
Even water.
And I had one Coke in Italy, and it was like
this big.
Wasn't even normal
like a juice
size.
Glass.
Right. And I was like, a Coca-Cola. But it was like $8. So I was just like, give me wine. Just give me some wine. Yeah. It was for sure more cheaper than Coke. And then like you said, it was cheaper than water.
Yeah.
So why not?
Good. Yeah. So that's my side note about ice and wine. And I'm like, okay, I'm justified. I am going to put ice in my wine when I'm at home.
Yeah.
And if anybody gives me crap about it, Karen, I'm going to say, look,
you lived in Italy. You're almost Italian.
I'm not almost Italian. It was only, I think it was like 4 weeks altogether.
Oh, no, was it 9 years?
I don't think that counts. I'm from there.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for our.
Yeah.
I mean, we just talked about how we talk and our food differences. So we can always,
I feel like we might have some corrections or some comments on this one.
I would like some comments or corrections.
Yeah, I feel like my relatives, Matt Bauer, and John might be like, Betsy, you didn't even talk about this, or this was wrong. You should have, you didn't even, you said this wrong or something like that, which is fine. I would like you guys to correct me because, as you know, Angela just said, I'm not from there. I only lived there 9 years and I don't even remember some of those years. So your comments are welcome. We need people from the Midwest to let us know what is up. Okay.
And Katie, how did we do?
Yeah, Katie, did you enjoy your episode?
Yeah. How was it?
Yeah. So everybody have a great Sunday if you're listening on Sunday.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Y'all, and I hope you have a great Sunday dinner.
Well, yes. Have a great Sunday dinner.
What?
Whatever time you eat it. Eat it.
You just get a plate and you just dip up some food.
Don't say it. Hey, And if y'all want, do a Sunday brunch.
That's right. Okay. Anyway, have a great. Thanks for
Right.
listening. Be sure to like,
Yes.
subscribe, and please comment and
Comment.
let us know what you guys want to hear. Okay. And we're on
Yes.
Instagram. So hit us up on Instagram and we'll see you soon. Bye
Have a
everybody.
great day. Bye.